record stop button now. Hey there, Saucepan Patapons, everyone. How's it going, y'all? How is the going? If you were to take how it's going and describe how it goes, how would you do such a thing? Today, to be different, we're going to be answering questions that have been asked to me by, people that are subscribing to my Patapon service thing. Getting a little bit mixed up about what does what and where. But you know what? It's okay. Meatball Rider, Dear Raocow, 10 of the best locally thought wizard questions. A song with bird noises. I'm assuming both things are not at the same time. Oh man, arabesque. I heard that somewhere. But it's number 1, so we're ready. Also, I just found out that I forgot to check my emails and Patreon for last minute questions. So if you were at last minute, I might miss you. Have all the weird musical links and video peoples that force you to watch gotten you any strange notable recommended vids? Oddly enough, this may come as a surprise, but no. Maybe like once or twice there's gonna be something a little bit out of the ordinary, but it is extremely rare. And nothing that I really remember, sadly enough. Who would win a 5-twin? Plock and Rayman. I'm gonna give that one to Plock, because he can transform into various weapon and attack vehicles, whereas Rayman can use his head as a helicopter propeller. Do you think we'd ever see a return of you goofing around with Flash games for a spell, or has the Patreon Elite voting system scuppered that kind of video? A little bit. Actually, that's not necessarily true, because sometimes I still like to do something silly between. The main reason, oddly enough, is due to recording. Like, when I used to use Bandicam for everything, you can just have that set up to record whatever shows up in, like, a square. And that, and everything is fine, everyone is happy. Ever since I used Dxtory, you can't do that. You absolutely need to hook it into something. So, yeah, so, like, I can't really just, like, jump around between, like, Flash applications on a browser or something. I could use Bandicam for that, but I need to tool around with the settings to make it easy to edit with Adobe Premiere, which is not impossible. So, in other words, it's more technical reasons why I don't do it, but the main reason why I don't do it is that it can be a sudden, like, just out of the blue flash of inspiration thing. It can't be just this weird spontaneous thing. Technology robbing us of spontaneity, a history of human civilization. 4. If you were inclined to quote someone as inspiration for problem solving, who would be your first port of call? Kamina from Togen Gurren Lagann. Yes, that seems like a good idea. I mean, quote someone. Doesn't say it needs to be someone that is non-fictional. A bunch of powerful wizards appear and say they'll stop pestering you, but only if you finally beat Mariari. What are you going to do? I guess I'm gonna keep getting pestered by powerful wizards, I guess. Sadly, this is the rest of my life. If an evil empire suddenly sprang up overnight and took over the world, would you join the inevitable resistance or just go along with it? I mean, it depends. Sure, the evil empire is evil, but, like, what are they running on? Is it Doctor Doom evil, where everyone has free healthcare? Because I could tolerate that. I need more details on the evil of the empire, and that how evil it is and to what degree. These are important things to ponder. You can't just decide that thing on a flip of a coin. A powerful wave washes over you, granting you... Okay, I'm gonna restart that sentence. A powerful wave washes over you, granting you mastery over one single term or concept with the word wave in it. What do you pick? What has master of wavelengths? Which, if you really think about it, suddenly makes me way super OP. Depending on what mastery means here. But if it's mastery over, like, absolute control, man, with wavelengths, you can do anything, because you basically, at some level, become a master of, matter itself. and sound, and sight, and light. Everything. Gravity. I mean, there are gravity waves. Anything. Is jumping and kicking a guy the best finishing move, or do you possibly think the good old diving kick can be surpassed? Wow, I cannot read. Is jumping and kicking a guy the best finishing move, or do you possibly think the good old diving kick can be surpassed? I mean, maybe, but like you need to add, like, I don't know, but I mean, I think that the dive kick is a good finishing move for day-to-day usage for mooks. It's just that once you cross over to fighting, you know, someone of more importance, like the big overlord, then like, I think you want something more flashy. But honestly, dive kick for just day-to-day usage, no. I don't think that can be surpassed for that kind of use. How good are you at the fine art of shadow puppetry? Fairly poor. How good are you at giving advice to people? Fairly mediocre. Thanks for asking. It's Red Mage Mike. It's the reddest Magi of all. Not Magi, you know, it's a magician. I'm jumping on the early train this week, Red Mage Mike says, and then gives a music link with a very useful music comma on the side to make sure no one gets confused. The Trouble, Fogo and Geesh. Whoa, it's Peter Flan. Gotta look here. In the world where the sky likes to pretend to taste like peppers, yo, I am also a dinosaur. I don't know what's up with me this afternoon. If you had to participate in an eating competition, would you prefer to eat as much as you can, a time limit, or try to eat a set amount of food as fast as you can? I.e. eat as many pancakes in 10 minutes versus eating 50 pancakes as fast as you can. What would be your food of choice, and how well do you think you'd do? I would prefer eat as much as you can, but like within a reasonable time limit. Like just be constantly eating and be the last one still eating, like, I think would be more my flip side. Of the two, like, I just feel that if I need to eat as much food as I can within the time limit, I would get sick of that food. Like, I would eat too much of it and I'd be sad. So I think a race. Well, yeah, I don't know. I think like 50 pancakes as fast as I can is better than how many pancakes in 10 minutes. The reason for that is that in 10 minutes, like, you just kind of get go for 10 minutes, which is pretty harsh. If you got 50 pancakes, you actually see the end of the line, you know? If you can actually see you making progress, that's more encouraging than just stuffing yourself for what feels like forever, I think. I'm going to Montreal this summer. Have you ever been? If you have, are there any good stops you can recall? It might be fun to visit. Food recommendations are welcome. I might not be able to eat there, but I know other people might. I've been to Montreal like 3 times in my life, and it's been a while. I not really have much in terms of recommendations, sadly. I just, like, honestly, if I were to go to Montreal, I'd be as much of a tourist as you would be. Sorry about that. Favorite Disney movie? I'm thinking just on the strength of the genie alone, like the character and the performance, I think I have to give it to Aladdin. I think that's a good reason. This is a cool dude. You know, he has a goatee and his skin is blue, which is really popular in the sci-fi crowd. The lovely penguins all like, yo, check it, it's HTTPS. Security is important. Sonic Mania! Studiopolis Zone 1 Extended. You can see that part of the title. Sonic the Hedgehog is his name, and Sonic the Hedgehog is the video game. Are you hype? Sorry. I'm sorry. Are you... Really, I am. Are you hyped for Sonic Mania? I myself am looking the look of it. It's great to return to series root gameplay-wise. Didn't say that back in Sonic 4. Though I have still enjoyed many of the more modern Sonic games. On that note, have you played any of the classic Sonic games? Sonic 1 to 3, Sonic Seed, or Sonic and Knuckles? Regardless of whether you played them or not before, would you ever consider doing a Let's Play of any of them? I'm kind of in the dark about Sonic Mania. Like, I have such, like, Sega are just so good at creating Sonic hype and then destroying everything that I do not respond anymore until I have actual, report or personal experience on the game itself. Sonic 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna include Sonic K in there, I think are really good game. I'm kind of about their whole, oh man, speed zone, because a lot of the late game platforming in all of them is kind of bad because of the emphasis on weird momentum. But overall, they're still pretty solid experience. Sonic CD, I think that the time warp gimmick is weirdly implemented. Going fast, the time warp is neat, but the level design, I feel, isn't as good as it could be. You didn't mention Sonic Spinball, quality classic. That plays pretty bad. But yeah, like what you said, like Sonic 4 was honestly advertised that, it was return to series root gameplay-wise, and no one remembers Sonic 4 because it is a bad game. And that's what's stopping me from getting hyped about Sonic Mania. I'm sad to say. I'm sad that I'm like that. I'm sad that the internet has made me so inured to hype at this point. There are things that get me hyped sometimes, but there's such a minority of thing, and that I find a little on the edge of upsetting, honestly, but I can't help who I am. Mickle Fire, can you help who I am? Curse you, Ow Cow, and your unpredictability! Just playing music, still 6-minute loop, remix of the whole thing. Man, why will you call me unpredictable? What have I done to you to merit such a callous something? Now you're all alone from Humaniki, Barack Selman by Daily Water. Your Daily Water, yeah? OC Remix 2640. And yeah, they took a jingle and they made a 3-minute song out of it. Kogajas! At this point, I can just tell. Honestly, at this point, you're not even trying to make it look like Quest. Well, it kind of looks like Quest just because, it starts with a Q and it ends with an S, and the shapes are kind of what they need to be. Object Dreams is a Tumblr where the owner has fed some text into a predictive text interface and used it to write some bizarre text. For example, for the ones you read last week, the source was hundreds of Amazon reviews for fire extinguishers. Really? Huh. Anyway, with that bit of exposition out of the way, let's get semi, but not really even that political. Okay, well, now that I know how these are made, I am very excited about the possibility of a new era of Gorgonzola. Alright, so this is a review. I'm gonna scoot it over. Obama is no stranger to me. This review is from Dreams from My Father's Story Race Inheritance. I was Obama's biological father, and I have to say that Obama is no stranger to me. You can definitely speed read this piece of fiction authored by a man. I was a man, of course. I was Obama's dad, a person who made him in the original. I have the same name as President Obama and his father and his wife. I would be president if Obama was not a person who was published by his father. Barack Hussein Obama's biological father is a brilliant kid who has become infected with some vague idea of becoming president. I'm just gonna go ahead and follow this, by the way. Okay, so Obama was so bored with his disgusting father who made him from all his skin, and he never mentions getting online. He never mentions the story of an American flag in the original book, the Book of the Internet. I am surprised to be so enamored with an American flag on the internet. I am not a waste of a man. I am proud to be plausible framework for Obama's biological narrative. In Hawaii, I was looking for a bus to the United States, and I don't understand how I found it. I was so smart that I was published in a book, and I read the book, and it's entirely possible to read it. I had a wife, and I think that's why Obama is there. I read this book in the same neighborhood as that... I read this book in the same neighborhood as an alcoholic philanderer who has photos of his own voice. It is obvious to say that I am very rich. Oh, I can't believe that this review got only 1 star. Wow! Oh, man. Oh, boy. Oh, adulthood. Has all this RPG business affected the theoretical MST riffing whatever term we ended up using for the Mystery Science Theater 3000 thing? Heck, I'm all for Mystery Science things, or AMST. Last mentioned like 2 years ago or something. Please, it was like 1 year ago. I wouldn't say that has affected it, but it sure affected my free amount of time. I'm honestly though, now that there's a Discord, I believe that it's only a question of time before it can just kind of ends up like happening off the cuff. So I'll say like it's very possible for it to happen more so than it was before. This is my non-committal answer. Let's try this way. What video game property would it be really hard to screw up adapting into an animated series? Man, you are asking that. You really want to know what video game IP I would like to say as an animated story. I'm assuming that any game that has already a story that's story focused should probably not be included. Let's say like Kirby did something alright with it, and all that. So let's see. One game would be really hard to screw up adapting into an animated series. You know what I'd like to do? This just kind of came up to me. Like, you know how a lot of mobile games now just kind of mush all the Final Fantasies together into this weird, like, Smash-like universe kind of thing happening? Have an anime in that kind of setting, where it's just all Final Fantasies. I want to see that happen. There you go. You got an answers out of me. Why do you call fuzzies Richard? So, it's pretty simple. Once upon a time, I used to call fuzzies neckbeards. Right? You remember that? One day, while playing Jump, I accidentally stuttered and called a fuzzy dickbeard. Sorry about the language, but that's what I said at the time. But, you see, the thing is, I'm not referring to anything naughty here. It's that really I meant to say, no, it's a nickname for Richard. No, the fuzzies are just called Richards. I've been calling them neckbeard as a sort of like endearing insult kind of way. But, you know, sometimes, you know, we're working together. He's my enemy. I'm the protagonist. Need to dodge around him. We have a professional relationship, so I think I should call him by, you know, his real name. No jokes. So that's why now I try to be respectful and call him by his full name. Richard. Well, his full first name. I don't know his family name. Is there something you wish wasn't spoiled to you? At this point, Undertale, like, I'd like to play that game, but everything worth it has been destroyed for me. Is there something you wish was spoiled to you? That's a weird question. I don't think so. Because anything I want to learn about, I can easily learn about it on the internet. So I don't think there is. I mean, the question is there something? The answer is I don't think so. Okay, one more object dream, and we're done. Surrealist Noir. Oh, man. Why did I do that? Idiot. Oh, jeez. This is written using predictive text. Source screenplays for The Maltese Falcon and The Big Sleep. Oh, okay. Fade in. Interior office. Mid shot. Spade puts his hat over his belly and looks at a desk. Spade gets down on his knees and begins to fill up his mind with a bottle of Bacardi. His mouth smiles and there is nothing in it. Oh, wow. Spade's face becomes aware of his mouth and whispers into it with curious interest.
I'm not crazy about your breath. Smells of blood.
Marlowe gets out his handkerchief and wipes his damp red sweat off his hat. He looks at Spade, nods once, nods again, then stands up and hammers his hand on the side of his head. A small, dark limousine enters the room from behind. Marlowe takes out a medium-sized photograph of his mouth and holds it up to his forehead. Marlowe uncorks a terrific left fist against the wall of his face. Spade gets his hat on as Marlowe drives away in his car, which is big with sweat. Spade turns on the sofa and puts his right hand on his throat to get rid of his neck. Effie Perrine comes in through the crack in the shadows. Beside her head, her lips move jerkily, and Effie Perrine opens the door of her throat. Effie shakes her mouth roughly around behind the sofa. Spade's bland face is frightened into going away. With his fingers lost amongst his hand, he puts his arm around the desk. Marlowe re-enters the room with a heavy automatic pistol in the mouth. Marlowe is quite relaxed, and his eyes are clouded by fat. In his chair, he jerks his pistol out of his mouth to get a cigarette in it. Marlowe puts his arm around Effie Perrine's head and picks her up and gets her back on a couch. When he speaks to Spade with his eyes open, the sound of thunder follows him.
In my line of work, it isn't normal to be on the sofa.
Spade nods indifferently, nods once more, and stands very slowly with his hand on his throat again. Marlowe is still impossible to see. This is amazing. This is seriously amazing. Man, I have to look, do some dumpster diving in this archive. Why's there that focus on sweat? That's the strange thing for a computer to focus on, in my opinion. Then again, why should I know what a computer would think about? The powerful Sphinx, spelled weirdly, powerful Sphinx turns you into a cat. How do you feel about this turn of events? Panic. I lost my opposable thumbs. I do not have the mouth structure to speak. I mean, I'm probably cute and adorable, but I'm gonna have some bad times. Adapting's gonna be harsh. Being turned into a cat is not like they say in the animes, sadly. D is here with gentle music. It goes. Well, maybe not. I'm just kind of projecting here. Siramana, A Wish, Japanesey, piano cover. I'm gonna cover that piano. My opinion on t-shirts, that is one I would probably buy. Wear. Oh, phew. Finally, we're gonna see what D would wear as a t-shirt. One with a cutesy Raocow character, the one with the blue-green R shirt, a shirt that is a blue-green R shirt. I mean, that actually would probably work pretty well. Something saucepan or Raocow saucepan. The Howdy shirt. It's a clown saying howdy because it comes from the circus. Like, obviously, yes, Rezcow's popular bar club visiting shirt would be a blast. Someone also posted something about like that was a demo. It's probably alright, and also just Richard, which might also be pretty alright. Man, your pronunciation of guillotine really threw me for a loop. I didn't think I've ever heard someone in the US pronounce it seriously as guillotine. How are you supposed to pronounce it then? I didn't realize it was a real pronunciation, but looks like it is. I've only ever heard it as guillotine, which I guess is kind of partway between your French pronunciation and your English pronunciation. Guillotine. Yeah, I guess. But there's L's. Like, I know there's L's because it's a borrowed word from French, but still, there's L's. I guess it's just a word I haven't heard pronounced all that often, oddly enough. Pronounce the following words' names, please. Alright. Gaussian, Reuters, Tycho Brahe, GIF, Prêt à manger. Never heard that in English. Experiment, February, strawberries, and Guyane. I probably screwed everything up, and I apologize to everyone on Earth. You're in the Eastern time zone, right? I feel like I should already know this, but somehow I don't, or forgot. Yeah, I am in the Eastern time zone. Time zone of the East. Have you ever... Why am I... Yeah, I don't know why I'm making a big thing about it. Time zone of the East! Have you ever watched an LP where you wanted to or actually did yell at the screen? This is not related to any recent events. I don't know if you did anything yell-worthy around the time you're reading this. Yes. Most famously during Pichu's blind LP of... which he has abandoned, by the way. Boo. Of Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past. I felt they didn't give the game enough patience, and I said angry things. Always as a joke, though. Like, I always just kind of exaggerated and flipped it into it being so exaggerated that I was hoping everyone could tell that I was joking. But behind the joke, there was a real willingness to want to shout about obvious things that got me ooh. That's the story! Valmore, what's down now, cow? Well, it's my chair. Oh! That was a pretty funny thing I said there. Vulgaris Magistralis Heidbolk. Alright. No, it's thunder. There's a lightning storm in my computer. Additional Ars Magica information. Okay, Whis is pronounced Whis. This is pronounced Whis. Good to know. You're loud. Well, maybe you're not too loud, but to me, in real life, I don't know. Covenants are generally established in areas with magical aura in order to gain the benefit of magical workings. The basis describe a spot between time and space is basically just a covenant located within a regio, regio, with a hard... Geez, sorry, regio. Why? It's derived from region. Whatever. Regio. Which is a special form of aura that has several layers. The lowest level of the aura is connected to the mundane world, or regiones. Also with Lardaji are rare, but a covenant located at least partially within one isn't too uncommon. Now, what would constitute a proper project for an experienced magus would be to figure out a way to reliably create regiones. I'm the pasta wizard. This would probably require lots of lab work, visits to different already existing regiones, and several catastrophic botched attempts at creating one. Plenty of story and material there, especially since ragatonis tend to be inhabited by creatures attuned to their type of aura. Something different. Let's say that while adventuring you lose a hand. Since you have managed to earn a favor with a powerful wizard, you have two choices. Either you suck it up and maybe get a hook hand, or you ask a wizard to regenerate your hand. What do you do? The catch is that magic in this world works by tapping other dimensions and drawing their laws and materials into your world. So in order to regrow your hand, the wizard replaces it with the appendage of another dimensional creature that is capable of regeneration. It's unlikely that your new hand will look remotely human, and it might behave in human ways, and there is a chance, I'm assuming you mean chance, there is a chance that you might be turned wholly into a nameless creature, an insane hybrid being. The real question is, of course, whether the wizard cares about you enough to explain the above to you. Honestly, I'd go for it. That sounds pretty rad. I know a lot of people are not keen on having their characters be hurt or altered in such a way, but I'm always open to that. Like, I think that can lead to amazing things, and that sounds pretty rad. I don't know, like even without all that, yeah. Like, if I were to ask a wizard to regenerate my hand, I'd ask if, you know, he could put a little something in it to make it, you know, a magic hand of some way or some fashion. So it looks like I can just have that for free. The above scenario was inspired by Praedor, a Finnish RPG that unfortunately hasn't been translated into English. Praedor is set in Jaconia, a circular land with a surface area roughly a third of the United States. That's precise. Which is completely surrounded by Borvaria, a seemingly endless ruined city. If you are familiar with the novel Roadside Picnic, you could describe Jaconia as a safe area surrounded by a massive zone. Everything in Borvaria is toxic, except the air mostly. There are monstrous predators, pack of nameless creatures, and tears in reality, from which spill out the natural laws of strange dimensions. But there's also treasure, which goes an adventurer for life with a single good haul. Simple art from a game. An adventuring party. Well, let's take a look at that at the very least. Check it out. Putting on an image. Wow. Oh. They seem like they're having a rough time. But these two happy men are having good old wrestling wrist wrestling? How's it called? Arm wrestling. So they don't have a table, they have to mime it. But I mean, the way you're describing it sounds pretty rad. Oh no, photos. Oh no, what will I do? Photos are pretty scary because they trap people's souls. And yeah, if anyone want a better summary of the game, go to playlab.utah.fi/Pridor. Let me spell things for people on the audio-only version. playlab.utah.fi/PRAEDOR/ Video game. Umbrella Protege. Prithee Tell Rao Cow. Music Jamboree. This is gonna be a real jamboree. I'm gonna judge you in a meaningful way, whether or not it is an actual jamboree. Start Freckles, watercolor and gouache painting time lapse. I mean, man, watercolor is so hard to use. Like the fact that they already did that is pretty darn gosh impressive. Anyone out there has used watercolor? It is the hardest thing in the universe, I suppose. Like, not hard as in it's not hard at all, it's water, but I mean difficulty. It's impossible to do precise work. People who manage to do art with that, I'm always just like, man, wow. Music is pretty low. I'm enjoying this vast difference in music volume. Okay, high praise is what trails in the sky last week gush where the gush fest deserves. This is a very story-heavy game, so probably not something directly up your alley, at least definitely not for LPing, but maybe someone else listening could find like it, and also I think it's appreciation-worthy just for how well it's written. I was just hooked within the first 5 minutes of dialogue, personally. Neat stuff about the neighborhood in Russia. And fun fact about Mayo to Mayo's shared Oliver Salad recipe last time. Oliver Salad was my French name in my French class. I think I even signed a story read that. Indeed, I remember that. I just picked Oliver as a French person named Olivier, if you're reading in French, by the way, as a French person name on its own as my French class identity. Another immersive learning thing. We had to be different people in that class. And then picked up the salad part when my teacher mentioned was a recipe and people just started calling me salad. Anyway, I've actually made it myself before. It's pretty tasty. Closer to something like chicken salad, tuna salad, than actual lettuce salad. And that is okay by me. Salad is also the name of the girl in Baruto. Remember that. I don't have much on the To Share blog this week, but may as well go with something. Ever heard of Sense8? It's a Netflix show where 8 people from around the world suddenly can, without their control, experience everything the other 7 people are sensing. Wow, that's reminds me of Kisniver, honestly. Those smells, pain, pleasure, noise, and they can even visit each other mentally, basically becoming an interactive projection into the other person's world that only they can see. The takeaway is that eventually any one of them have access to other people's skills if they are available, and can possess them in time. So for a straightforward example, the Korean businesswoman who is a boxer, can help the Kenyan bus driver beat up thugs who threaten him and his passengers, but only if she's not helping someone else already asleep, preoccupied, etc. I don't have Netflix, so no, but that does sound like a concept. Sense8 was made by the Matrix directors and is actually pretty good. I got recommended by it by a coworker, and now I'm happy there's a second season coming out shortly. In fact, none of it is fully under their control, and they have to sort of figure the whole thing out while at least some of them are thinking they're going crazy. Makes it a little more interesting. Maybe that's what people crave out of superhero shows. People finding out magical things about themselves. Then the audience gets bored with watching as soon as characters know what up. And it goes into the familiar rut of superhero stuff before petering out after. An extremely successful 6+ season for some reason. Hopefully this doesn't go too hard down that cliche route. Plus, since it doesn't have to be rated for TV, the joys of unintentional orgies every time any of them sleep with their significant others, it gets to happen all the time. Way too many times. Nice and awkward TV. I get the feeling that of all things was why this particular coworker enjoyed Sense8 so much, considering his main comment about how good Game of Thrones is quote-unquote boobs, ! And he's nearly 40. I mean, we must not criticize simpler people. for they have found bliss that we will never have access to. Man, sure, this is the day where I just go ahead, declare myself better than everyone, apparently. If someone else in the world could have access to any and all of your skills, like in Sense 8, what sort of personal crisis do you think you could help them through? If they need someone to play a Mario game for them, I'm right there. Yeah! They need to have some decent analysis of like modern era visual arts. I'm there. Woo! My skills are not. My skills are very specific. Let's put it that way. What sort of people would you want on your Sense 8 team to help with specific situations you have to deal with in your life? I want to cook so I can just make food. That's good all the time, forever. That's all I need. Sense 2, yeah. When you worked in an office setting, did you have any coworkers who were extremely maladjusted? I guess that fits for classmates or anyone else in life you have to deal with. Anyone you could just look at and wonder how the hell they're gone as far as they have in life with the way they are. Not really. Like, no, but it helps that, like, my job was kind of bottom of the barrel, so really it's more like, yeah, no, yeah, that's their job, that makes sense, which is an extremely pessimistic way to think about now that I'm saying it out loud, but that was the thought at the time. Favorite color is green! Save myself a question, and I saved myself an answer. Everyone is happy. Do you ever get into moods where you really want to see or make a lot of things in a certain color combination that isn't your favorite color? My favorite color is red, but I've not been able to get over painting, drawing the combination of blue and pinkish purple in recent months, or watching art or imagery slathered in those colors. Not just this watercolor video playing in the background either. I even started well before I saw this and just happened to fit into that niche perfectly. I even bought a bedspread, an entire bed set decked out in those colors. That's kind of insane. I'm into green, as y'all know, but when I make art, I tend to go more into purples or to go into bright red and oranges. I very rarely use green when I art, and I have no idea why. But that's how it tends to be. If you were I think it's because, like, I don't want, like, because, like, maybe part of my brain's like, of course you don't want to put green, like, of course it's gonna look like that's cheating. So use other colors instead. Maybe it's the only something close to maybe an answer I have. If you were a fourth little pig, what would your house be made of? So we got wick, we got bread, we got stone. Mine is made of titanium. I don't think houses are made of titanium, but it's metal. Iron? Metal. Have you ever seen a food or a piece of media or anything you have a negative opinion about and said to yourself, you know what? I want to feel the opposite way about that. Or at least give it a shot. Something like maybe if you don't like pickles, just adding pickles to a hamburger or a salad. See if it's changed. Maybe trying to convince yourself it's not actually bad. I don't know, man. I mean, when I was a small child, I absolutely refused to eat pizza. I don't know why. And nowadays, I very much look forward to eating pizza. That's super vague, though, but it happened. Well, in reference to that last question, I recommend it. Over the last few years, I've Stockholm Syndrome myself into liking pickles, olives, hot pepper, hot sauces, sour cream, scotch, dark chocolate, and a bunch of other things. Expand your horizons. Sometimes that's nice. Well, I agree. You should always try things. Sometimes, though, the blockage is pretty strong. Out of all the sorts of public places you have to go out and interact with to live on this earth as a human being, grocery store, post office, bank, restaurant, etc., what is your least favorite place to go? Why? Grocery stores, if it's full of people. Post office, banks, whatnot, restaurants, you kind of do your thing, it's fine. But a crowded grocery store is the worst because you got people that are like literally in the way. Because like they're gonna go at their own space, and not only that, but sometimes I feel like I'm in the way because I'm taking my time looking at the thing. I mean, I can mitigate that by going when, you know, at weird times where people don't typically go. Like, for example, Tuesday in the middle of the afternoon. That's not a common time for people to go out and do their groceries. So that's kind of what, maybe like kind of what. But yes. I don't know. Like, otherwise, like, honestly, I don't really leave my home unless I really need to. So it hasn't really been, like, an issue for a while. Been from a tiny rural town, having moved to one of the busiest metropolitan areas of America, I have come to despise grocery stores and any big box stores for being constantly packed to the gills with people. Ha! Being in those pulsating crowds has become terrible. Sometimes in my apartment, I just look around and realize we're all sorts of packed in like sardines in these buildings, and it's terrible! I've not even been in the city proper. Long story short, I recently really get why you don't want to go to a convention, Cao. Casting it against my grocery store experiences, I'm rethinking my own desire to do so one day. At least unless grocery store folk, people at a convention wouldn't bat an eye at me carrying a Master Sword or a Monado around. That's about the only net positive, though. Then again, a higher concentration of people with questionable hygiene. Think about that part. What's the best vacation you've ever taken? What's the best vacation you've never taken? I haven't really taken any vacations ever, almost. So I feel like I cannot answer that question truthfully. If I take a vacation, like maybe I'll go see my dad. That's not really a vacation though. Like I don't really take vacations. But wow. Thanks for the bits as always. When you're done with this reading, assuming it hasn't happened on its own, can you advance rewind a video to maybe about 20 seconds before the end? Just can see the end result of painting. It's a pretty good painting for what it is, I think. What do you think? Yeah, it's looking alright. Which I mean, it's looking wonderful. There is some insane talent going on. Whoa. Oh, I see. Interesting. Yeah, like there is a lot of talent in that picture. That is a very good art. It is super neat. I'm like kind of jealous. Why you make me look at that? Zachary, you can spell session right. Zach, jeez. That Mega Man 2 Dragon is a good first boss to gush over. It's pretty nice. 10 years is a decade, by the way. It comes up a fair bit, right? Decennia is actually called a decade. Oh, and calling me when I said in a question is in itself lazy. Calling me when I said in a question is in itself lazy. But then again, hardly deserve pity. I have procrastinated on a 4K word essay. Now my back's against the wall. But you know what? Music helps that too. LOL, remembering things. That never happens. Never. The Megas, the quick and the blow. Oh, the Megas. I know those. Alright, question when? Yeah, see, it's a remix of a song you might recognize. Quick man. When does something cross... Whoa. Music's starting for real now. Let's go. When does something cross the threshold from being fun but brutal to being not worth the struggle difficulty-wise? So there's a final Super Cat Planet Pose game for reference. I cannot give you a fixed answer to that. There are no answers. It's just something you know. What? The lyrics? Boo. That's right. That's harsh. So, no, yeah, like, there's no answer to that. It's a case-by-case thing, and there are several factors, such as how I felt on that day, if the day itself is good. Like, there's just too many factors, all relative to the day. So I cannot answer that. Because if there was an answer, like I could just. What Patreon tabletop group do you look forward to the most each weekend? Man, I will not answer that question. I refuse to answer that because I don't want anyone to feel you know. So I'm not answering that. That rock, paper, wizard, choose paper. Too bad you both tied. Oh, sorry. Try again. I'm trying paper again. A powerful wizard gave you the power to write one essay of your choosing at least reasonably well in an extraordinarily short amount of time. What a subject do you choose for? Well, why would I write an essay? Like, in what context am I writing an essay here? I don't have to write essays anymore. I haven't written an essay in years. Gonna write an essay about the fact that the Mushroom Kingdom is actually an allegory for pre-modern Moscow. Now, I want to read that paper. You've been through a ton. Keep it up. But really, does someone need encouragement? Because I can give them my all. Oh, that's nice of you. Go team, go. That's my contribution. I want to tell you something amazing. This boss that the song is about, the community has a pattern down on him. Guess how long it took? 17 years. I don't know about you. That is an incredible time span in which a boss pattern has been figured out. And by the way, that's quick, man. I said so earlier. The incredible fast one who seems to go so fast that he doesn't have a pattern. There's one thing though. Can't be beat though. It's his great music. Oh, I guess we're gonna switch it up because you don't say to stop. So stop to wait. But yeah, Quickman. I wasn't aware that Quickman was figured out. Oh no, now it's Airman. You can tell because there's Airman. I think can relate to this music. Take of this what you will. What do you stand for, really? Yes, in terms of philosophically. Philosophically. Well, I stand for no philosophically. Everyone is allowed and deserves to have happiness. To follow up with one of the questions in there, what public places do you mind going to the least? But yeah, even coming from someone with a bit of an urban upbringing, big stores can be the worst. Small time ones are better shopping if they have what you need. I mean, of the subjects he gave, banks, like whatevs, because you just kind of do your thing. Like any place where you're dealing with a professional, you know, more or less directly, I'm fine with. Even if you have to wait in line or whatever, you're just in line, and then you see the person, and you know, hopefully you settle whatever the reason you're there, and it's done, and it's cool. It's efficient. I like that. What do you want the most right now? Something to drink. Which is something I have the power to fix, but I gotta keep speaking to a microphone for now. First of all, let me say to you that I hope your day and week will be nice, because the next thing I have in store leaves no quarter for comments. Okay. Alright. You know, I have something more surprising than Quickman's Ring of Terror having an end. And yes, there is no end to the amplification. Remember that rumors that Muse under the truck by the SSN? Have you come into contact with this before? It isn't true, as you might have guessed. But! Someone has made it exist. You may watch this whenever, but be sure you do. This also goes to depend upon people listening in. So about 3 if you want to skip this out. I think I saw that. I'm not gonna check, because I'm a jerk. But, I mean, it's, with the shoddy way that all the Pokemon are coded, I wouldn't be surprised if someone managed to hack it in-game. Swirly Bomb says fart! Woohoo! Farts are pretty funny because it's gas coming out of your butt, and the butt is funny because you don't look at it normally. I can't look at my butt very easily at the very least. Play us a song that you really like and or never get tired of. Really like? Well, since we're in a Mega Man type of beat, Hardman, MM3. One of my favorite Mega Man songs. Ooh, 30 minutes. Stay this is Hardman extended. Ooh, piano cover. Remix. Let's take a gamble. I'm not hearing it yet. Please, song. It's taking its time getting to the fun part. Well, let's do a read up. Not sure if roleplay tales are still a thing, especially since you're in so many groups yourself now, so let me know if this is getting tiresome. Oh, there we go! I had to get started for it to get started. Yeah! Well, our D&D session typically seems to only involve a single encounter, but this one had 2 encounters! Crazy, I know! Torgo was absent, but we had a new player, Toby, short-tempered off-orc paladin seeking to prove his independence from his orc heritage. And Jasper Cozypants picked up some actual attack spells from his level up, since he felt useless in a fight without them. After all the owlbear business last time, Jasper rolled out of his sleeping bag for the night while Phoenix took watch, even though Luxus took the bullet for everyone, and they decided, there's a problem up against a tree, he'll be fine. A bit down the road, Toby was running all by himself and heard some noises coming from the trees nearby. He growled and shouted to scare off whatever it was, but instead that made a bunch of stirgs fly out and swarm him. For anyone unaware, stirgs are weird, gross, fleshy, vampiric squirrel bat-looking things. Super gross. He managed to fend off a couple, but got quickly overwhelmed and tried to flee! Or rather, he tried to see if he could jump in a nearby puddle to shake them off, but it was hardly a foot deep, so, yeah. Luckily, Phonix stopped. Luckily, Phonix stopped the silhouettes in the dark and ran over to investigate. Lux is having to wake up at the same time as saw Phoenix running off, so I checked to make sure Jasper was alright and followed. We caught up just in time to shoot Smite the last couple before Toby went down. Was really grateful for his save and invited him to join us back at camp. But when we got back, now a horde of stirgs were sneaking up to the sleeping Jasper. Whoops! But he had to drop on them and managed to pick them all up at a range just in the nick of time. Phonix even managed to fire an arrow straight through one and hit a second behind it. Now all safe and Jasper awake. Phonix remembered that light keeps stirgs away, so we should make a fire. The prospect of fire got Jasper real excited and he cast his new Burning Hand spell right at the grass around us. Oops. We all had to scramble to contain it before the whole area went up in flames, but at least we had a very large fire now. In the morning, Phonix gathered up all the Stirg's corpse to make breakfast with, and we continued on to our side quest destination. We reached the ruins of a very old castle, very old, considering all that's left was part of a tower, a couple of walls, and a well. And Luxus and Toby could sense the stench of undeath nearby. Phoenix went up to the tower and heard noise on the other side, so she used Hail of Thorns, firing the arrow straight up so it would land inside. Unsurprisingly, there was a lot of commotion and groans inside. And then about a dozen zombies started shuffling out. This was clearly the undead situation we heard about back in town. It was tense up in the middle of the area, and Necromancer came out and started herding zombies back in. Didn't see us because we stayed hidden. I was apprehensive about trying to fight so many enemies at once, but everyone was gung-ho about, so well. Big brawl time. Toby went around a wall to try and flank them while started shooting. And the Necromancers now turned to send the zombies after us. As they advanced, I stayed in front and keep them at bay while Phonix and Jasper fired away. But the zombies proved extremely resilient. Instead of decided to start shooting Necromancer because if he was dead then he wouldn't be under his control anymore. Toby tried to imitate Phonix's earlier trick shot and spear two at once, but it bounced off of one and went straight down the well, succeeding only in getting some of the zombies to come after him instead. While Toby ran back towards us, I finally got a chance to be the cool guy. A turned undead drove off the whole horde that was around us, and Toby charged at a Necromancer, but stopped in his track by a whole person, and a guy complained, "Freaking cleric, do you know how many graves I had to dig to get all of those? And he's just driving them away like that!" With sending a full magic missile, I called back, "The only grave you're digging is your own!" I killed him with a crossbow bolt to the forehead, then we turned him back to smite the stragglers, zingering them with light magic. Afterward, the Dungeon Master reminded us what the guy in town said, which none of us remembered. "Just investigate what's going on, but don't engage them." We weren't supposed to fight a group, obvious in hindsight, let alone win, but we did anyways. Well... Got another French-related question. How would you correctly pronounce the names of these two characters? In French? So that would be Merveille Million, assuming it's French. This would be... is that... I'm trying to find Red Hunter Wiki. It would just be Up? Up, I guess? Yeah, Up. Alright, yeah, Merveille Million et Up. They come from the DS game Soldato Robo, Red the Hunter, about dog and cat people piloting big mechs in the land above the clouds with a similar grab and throw, catch and return style of gameplay to Mischief Maker. Unless you want me to pronounce them in English, which I would go Merveille Million in an op, I guess. All or most of the characters' voice clips are in French, and there may be other French elements I've forgotten. Some that stood out in my memory... Some that stood out in my memory are Red's Sapistri, apparently an old-fashioned by Jove sort of expression. Yeah, it's like a non-religious like, no, or like, what am I talking here? But yeah, it's a whoa! It's like, oh my god, basically, except not religious. Sapristi. Sapristi! Merveille's bonne chance. Get it? Because not. Oh, bone. Okay. It's not bonne chance. There's only one N, but my brain does that. It fixed the typo. It saw it was a typo, so it automatically fixed it, so I didn't see it. But see, because bonne chance means good luck, but that's not bonne, it's bone! And one from opera that sounds, oh, you mean, oh, I see. There, it's just freaking out because the A. Opera Kranz. That's more German. But opera, okay. From that sounds both like meow and wee in one word, like meowie. Oh, okay. Trivia! Well, it ain't no trivia. That was forced. I'm sorry. I'm the worst human. It's no trivia that... Okay. I love all of you. No, but seriously. Thank you, everyone, for making this possible, for being great, for being amazing, for being there, and for being people I like quite a lot. At the very least in here. Hi. How's it going? So, thank you for being here, and if you want to hear more people talk about things at length, Fate had a 1.5 session that I wasn't in because of conflicts of scheduling. So, but I mean, the group still did a thing. I have no idea. And Pathfinder had session 2, which I thought was amazing. Which I honestly thought was pretty great. I don't know if all the players were shared that mindset though, but I had a lot of fun. I should have. I liked it a lot. It's very different than the session the first. I'm just gonna put that there. This is raocow! Y'all are Patapons or Saucepan. There's a few factors we have to look over, regarding both. And join me hopefully next week. Maybe we're gonna do that again next. I don't know. You think you're gonna be here next week? Because I mean, I can make some times and just kind of I can kind of make some time and show up. Maybe we can like hang out. Is there a just kind of hang out. Just not. I'm not really asking for anything. Just just kind of hang out and just